Welcome to St. Augustine this evening, the Mike Davis Show here on the 904 Now Network. Yes, we're having a great day today.
We are.
2 of our 3 hosts are here. The third one is on the way. And you know what? Gives us 5 minutes of content making fun of him when he shows up. So we love this.
He's just a little tardy.
It's okay. I mean, in the Troy Blevins world, what's a half an hour? No big deal.
Yeah.
No, I don't know how late he's going to be, but we do have Levi on the way tonight, which is awesome. He was working where he gets paid. So I never yell at people who are working where they get paid to come help us. So I think
unless it's me, because I'm the one that's got to get you live.
That's all right. I'm pretty easygoing. Heck, I had to twist Davey's arm. Not for any of those things, just to get him to take a day off.
Yes.
So Davey's going to take a day off in a couple of weeks, but he's, of course, in typical Davey fashion. I'll come in on Monday.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, because Davey's a trooper.
Hard worker. And yes. Levi says, don't pick on me. Sorry, that's not the show you signed up for. Sorry.
Levi, don't text and drive. Stay safe. Come here and listen and drive. Listen, I before we do the ad reads, I look over today at a stoplight. Young lady driving a car. She's got both hands on the phone. One knee on the steering wheel and one foot on the gas pedal.
Yeah.
And we go to take off from the light. And I'm like, well, surely she'll put this phone down. It's not how it's played out there in the wild, wild west these days. I finally had to beep at her. I was like, you can't have both hands on the phone and be swerving. She hit the left lane. I mean, if she had one of those cars that beeped, it would have been beeping at her the whole time. So
you're assuming that she cares.
I'm assuming that
is
she
a woman
gave her crap,
that controls her life with her thighs. I'm just saying. But you can get away with that. You can get away with beeping somebody. I cannot
get away with that.
You can get away with beeping somebody. So yesterday I get cut off by some dude in this giant truck. Yes. He cuts me off and I give the universal like, what the heck, man? And he stops blocking me in the lane and just chews me out through the window like it's my fault that he cut me off and I had a negative reaction to it. So I hope you feel very big and very powerful, young man with a beard in the big blue truck that decided to yell at a woman because she was annoyed that you cut her off in traffic.
This is not your month for trucks.
No, I hate trucks.
This is not your month. That's why I parked my truck on the other side of the parking lot. I don't want you to key it just because it's a truck.
It's the Osprey. She will take her revenge on all trucks for me, and she'll poop on all of them.
Oh, man. Please don't do that. That's why I moved from one side of the office park to the other. All right, Hebert, Kresge & Associates, they're a full-service local CPA firm with a team of skilled professionals dedicated to providing top levels of service in the areas of tax compliance planning for businesses, individuals, estates, and trusts. They also do audit reviews and other accounting services. You can get a business valuation, forensic analysis, and litigation support from Hebert Kresge. You can reach them at 904-460-0747, or you can reach Bill and Ken at HebertKresgeCPA.com. Great firm. Great firm.
And if you have an Osprey crapping on all of your belongings, call Cleansing Power LLC. St. Augustine homeowners and business owners, have you been thinking about giving your property a refresh? Let me tell you about Cleansing Power LLC. They're a one-stop shop for all your exterior cleaning needs and more. They do it all from pressure washing and soft washing to keep your home looking spotless to paver sealing that protects your investment. Got dirty windows? They can handle those too. Whether you're a homeowner trying to boost your curb appeal or a business owner looking to keep your storefront sharp, Cleansing Power LLC has you covered. They take on both residential and commercial projects, big or small. But wait, there's more. If you're looking for a complete transformation, Cleansing Power LLC offers interior and exterior services as well. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5-star reviews on Google. And while you're at it, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for cleaning tips and inspiration. Ready to make your property shine again? Give Cleansing Power LLC a call today, 904-687-8236, or shoot them an email at cleansingpowerllc@gmail.com to schedule your free estimate. Cleansing Power LLC, renew your property with cleansing power. Bozard Ford Lincoln in St. Augustine, their goal is to make sure your time and experience buying a car is stress-free, fun, and enjoyable. Bozard is a family-owned Ford dealership that has been in business since 1949. Bozard Ford Lincoln has been the recipient of numerous dealer awards, including being ranked #1 automotive dealership in the nation by Dealer Rater. Bozard Ford has also won back-to-back President's Awards, which is the highest honor given by Ford Motor Company. Check them out today online at bozardford.com or head on down there, have dinner, have a Jiffy Burger.
All right. These neighborhood diners are more than just a place to eat. They're where hospitality blooms and friends gather. Bring your own friends or make new ones at the Anastasia Diner, the Moultrie Creek Diner, where the coffee is always hot, the smiles are genuine, and the food tastes like home. Every meal is a chance to make memories, share stories, and create bonds that last a lifetime. It's not just about the food on the plate, but the community that comes together at the table. Come see us at Moultrie Creek Diner and Anastasia Diner. Tell them Andy sent you. Mm-hmm. Great guy, wonderful food.
Yes.
I think he's over the Georgia loss. Yes.
Yeah?
Not
Okay.
100% sure, but I'm trying to get word out of our California reporter who's out there right now.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll see what happens. So,
Okay.
All right, 5 days.
5 days.
5 of the longest days of my life are coming up.
Yeah.
I just got to get through the last 5 days.
Mm-hmm. It's a
I've
lot.
made it this far.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, I feel like that guy that's, been on a lifeboat at sea.
Mm-hmm.
You've run out of food. You've run out of water. Conditions have been horrible. And you're like, please just don't let the boat sink before I can get to the island. Just let me get to the island.
All right.
Ah!
I have a friend, my best friend in Peru, her big sister is a big Trump supporter, and she's been posting a countdown since sometime in December.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it got down to single digits, it was like, all right, what's going to happen? Something's going to happen. It's single digits now. And so it's just a black background, and in white letters, it says how many days. Yeah. So today it was just 5 days on a black background. It's a scary time right now.
You just want to get there. Let's just get
want to get there.
Let's just get there. We're almost there. We're almost there.
What's fun is that Kai Trump, who is Donald Trump's granddaughter.
Yes, golfer.
She's online and she's a bit of an influencer. I don't know. But she's been posting videos talking about like behind the scenes inauguration, which means that my daughter and all of her 15, 16-year-old friends are super engaged in the inauguration this year because they really like Kai Trump. And so that's kind of cool.
Apparently, she's a pretty neat kid, pretty good golfer. Maybe a chance at probably college golf.
Yeah.
And maybe a chance after that. But I mean, it's very interesting to watch the social media and how
social media.
The social media, how Trump, his family has just kind of really taken that on and done a phenomenal job at it.
Yeah.
I mean, and they have fun with it.
They do.
They have a lot of fun, which is part of the, typically, and this is a way overreach, but typically the more fun sites lean right. And the sites that are just,
currently that's
way
true.
too serious are the sites on the left. Not always true. There's some people on the left that have a pretty good sense of humor, and there's some people on the right that are boring as heck.
I can talk about someone on the left who did not have a good sense of humor. Did you hear about Bill Burr on Jimmy Kimmel?
No.
So Bill Burr was on Jimmy Kimmel, his house.
Well, Jimmy was crying the other day.
Yes, he was.
Just crying the other day. I mean,
yes.
Did you or did you not do a show called The Man Show? I'm just asking.
You did. I watched it in college.
The Man Show. Jimmy, first of all, the show was atrocious in today's time.
Oh,
right?
my word. Did not
you would not be able to do any of it, and you would have been banned faster than anything.
Oh, yeah.
But at least, take the word man and be one once in a while. Just be a man. I put up with 4 years. You didn't see me cry one time on here. I didn't come in here and cry. No tears, no nothing. I just knew I had to pick myself up. I had to go do all the things I need to do by myself, and I knew the government was not going to help me at all. And that's it. So Bill Burr on Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, so Bill Burr was on Jimmy Kimmel, and his house was fine in the fires. The fires skipped his house. And so he was on there making fun of people who are talking about the mismanagement because he doesn't believe it was mismanaged.
Bill Burr doesn't.
Bill Burr does not believe that it was mismanaged. And based on Jimmy Kimmel's reaction, he does not believe that fire safety was mismanaged in California either. So he was hardcore poking fun at people who have been, I believe, rightfully pointing out all of the failings that led this to be the scale of disaster that it has been. And it's not a good look. It's not a good look to sit there with your property and your wealth intact. You're not displaced, and you're denying the real world experience of the people who have been in interviews talking about how water wasn't coming out of the fire hydrants and how there weren't enough fire personnel, so certain streets were not receiving a fire response. And that's not the fault of the firefighters. It's the fault of the higher ups that didn't hire enough firefighters. And so he was making fun and being pretty snarky and sarcastic about a lot of people who are in much harder straits right now than he is in as a result of these fires. And he thinks that everything was managed perfectly. Well, because he was saved. But
Bill, that is the definition of insanity. Mm-hmm. Keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. That is the definition of insanity.
Absolutely.
So, Bill, I don't know when karma's going to teach you a lesson.
Taylor Swift has something to say about karma.
Oh, man, it's not good. I'm going to tell you the one group in California right now that Morgan & Morgan has offices out there. Everybody has offices out there, right? The lawyers are lining up for class action lawsuits about the mismanagement. So I tell you what, Bill, you bet on California in those court cases. I'm going to bet on the plaintiffs in the court cases. And I'm going to bet that they win a boatload of money. And Bill, you're a taxpayer out there.
Yeah.
You're going to pay for that. I'm just telling you how this is going to play out.
You could bet his house.
You're 100% going to pay.
You could bet his house.
I don't want Bill's house. I don't want his house. I don't want to live out there. I don't want if for some reason California found out I won the bet with Bill Burr and I got his house, do you know the taxes I would have to pay before I could sell that 5 minutes later? No, thank you. I don't want any part of that tax structure. I want no part of being out there. No. Thank you. But that's just crazy. At the meantime, today, I watched something on Instagram. It was a video of people yesterday in North Carolina waiting to get propane.
Yeah.
The line was 3 miles long. In freezing weather, waiting to get, but nobody's talking about North Carolina. No. North Carolina has been completely dumped on by FEMA, by the national media, because, they're not our people.
Yeah.
They're not celebrities. They're not people that live in places we live. So they've completely ignored these people in North Carolina.
Yeah.
5 days, folks. Hang on for 5 days. 5 days. Trump's coming. Trump's coming.
I just, I'm hesitant on the 5 days and everything will be perfect because Trump is not a messiah. He's not someone who can just wave a magic wand. But I so hope that he can get things moving in the right direction quickly.
I don't need him to be any of those things. I really don't. I don't look at him that way. I just want competent people.
Yes.
Because the hallmark of what we're seeing from Democrat leadership at the national level and at the local level in California is complete and utter incompetence. When the LA Times turns around and pulls back the endorsement of the mayor that they helped get elected in Karen Bass and says, we might have made a mistake. Yeah, you might have made a mistake. And when you look at that lack of leadership that went on in North Carolina with all of the hardships that those people went through, if it had not been for their neighbors, if it had not been for their friends, if it hadn't been for private citizens doing the work of government, then the people in North Carolina would have been even in worse shape.
Yeah.
And I heard today, a very reliable source, my wife, that supposedly they've removed some of the regulations in California that will let them build back houses. I shrugged and went, I'm going to be like Ronald Reagan. Trust but verify. When I actually see that happens, then I'll believe it. I just don't think that people that live to enact rules and regulations and enforce them can bring themselves to remove those rules.
Yeah.
People like me, I don't want to see the rules. I behave myself. I'll be just fine. I want everyone else to behave themselves, but I don't want to see a ton of rules. Speaking of rules, what time is curfew here, young man? Your mom and I have been worried sick about you. You could have called. You could have texted.
He did while driving.
I did. And I kept up with the show. So technically I was still here in spirit.
You're still working, yeah.
But,
Did you win your basketball game last week?
I did.
Nice.
Do you play in the championship this week?
We do.
When is the championship?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow night. Okay.
So exciting.
Thursday night. You sound so excited.
You do.
I'm flustered. I'm sorry. I'm flustered. All right, I'm good now, though.
Just roll with it. It's all going to be good.
We're good.
Yeah.
Levi, the next few minutes is going to be like sitting in an ice bath. It's uncomfortable, but you're going to get through it.
I did do an ice bath this morning. It was nice.
I got to ask you, morning ice bath or evening ice bath?
I do them both, depending on what activities I have that day. But morning is what I would recommend for everyone.
So I don't like the morning ice bath when it's cold outside.
It's because you're being a baby.
No, I don't like them. I'm just telling you what I don't like. I don't like the morning bath.
It's actually easier when the air outside is cold.
I'd much rather be about 70 degrees, and then I just walk in, walk out. Now, here's the other thing I've been doing is I've been walking out of the ice bath. Like Friday night, I went home, got in the ice bath, and it was cold Friday. Outside, I was out in the wind all day. It was not, my core temperature was lower than what it normally would have been. So when I got in the ice bath, it was not fun. But the sauna sure felt good at 155.
Oh, I bet it did.
It felt amazing.
I bet it did.
Like, yes.
Another pro tip, you should always end on cold. So
always end on cold.
So you should go sauna, ice bath.
I'm going to be semi-pro.
I couldn't be semi-pro.
I say cold, hot, then cold.
I know what you're telling me. I'm hearing you. I'm listening. I'm thinking about it.
Sauna's really good before bed. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I sleep better. I only know that because anecdotally, if I get in the sauna in the evening, I usually sleep better.
Right.
So that's it. But I don't ever drink when I'm going in the sauna because I don't want to get dehydrated. So I stay away from but that's another. I mean, I do feel like I sleep better if I get a little bit of sauna time at night.
Nice.
Just that. So yes.
Do you know why cold is better in the morning and sauna is better at night?
I do not know.
So
can you enlighten me, sir?
I will enlighten you. So when your I think it's called your parasympathetic nervous system is waking up in the morning, when you get in cold water, it forces the blood to rush to your core to heat up your core, basically to prevent hypothermia.
Yes.
And that's what triggers your body to like wake up and just gives it a kickstart for the day. At night, when you're going to bed, it's the adverse effect where you're getting in something hot that's going to cool your core temperature down. And that's what your body wants to do to sleep. So
just cool your core temperature.
Just cool your core temperature down. Yes.
Okay. See, and for me, I don't like that. My wife sleeps under the weighted blanket under all the covers.
So does my girlfriend.
It's freezing cold right now. One sheet. That's all I need. One light sheet. That's it. Just let me be nice and cold while I'm sleeping.
Same. Then that's better for you to sleep in the cold.
Okay.
64 to 68 is recommended.
Yes. I mean, I roll over and it's like Mount
same.
Everest there. It's
same.
like, oh, okay. Somewhere in there.
She gets the fan on her side with the weighted blanket and the big comforter.
Yes.
I get the sheet or like a throw from the couch.
Yes.
And then I have the dehumidifier on my side. So it's nice. Perfect.
So here's the
balance.
I'm going to give you this warning, and Amanda can tell me if it's true or not. One day when you have a car with heated seats and dual AC, she will have the heated seats on and the AC cranking.
Oh, I'm already experiencing that. Yeah. I'm already
100%.
experiencing that.
That is the only correct answer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And then she's like, it's hot, it's cold, it's hot, it's cold. I don't know how to get my body temperature right. I'm like, you have a heated seat on and cool air coming out. Why don't you just let everything just normalize and you'll be fine?
Yeah.
Because some of us have back pain.
And want to be cool at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't want to sweat just because I have back pain.
Touche.
All right. You put Josh on a 72-hour water fast?
I did, yeah. He did the 72-hour water fast. Is he in the middle of it right now still?
25 hours to go.
Let's go. I'm glad he's still doing it.
Josh, good luck. I'm going to be semi-pro on that one too. I'm just going to talk about it. No,
Try it, man.
I've done a fast for a day. It wasn't horribly awful bad.
24 hours is easy.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, 24 hours is easy.
It was not bad.
When you get to around hour 48 is when you start questioning things.
So I get when you say that, because if you've done stuff, you're like, oh, that was easy. So I did this ab routine, and the end of the ab routine was always the plank. We started like 30-second plank, and I think when I got done, I was doing 5-minute plank.
Yeah.
So anytime we do a plank at Sal's, and it's like a minute, I'm like, I'm going to stay here just a little longer, because that just, I didn't even warm up.
Yeah.
I'm still warming up.
Yeah, put a weight on your back.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Semi-pro again. No. Have you watched any of the hearings the last 2 days?
No.
Not a bit of the hearings.
I don't watch C-SPAN.
No, it was on everywhere.
Hearings about what?
We had Pete Hegseth, who's the Defense Department, was on yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pretty interesting, the same old, if you're a Republican, it was the softball questions, which both sides do to each other.
Okay.
Right? If it was the Democrats, it was like they were over the top. They were screaming at him, I guess, to try to get him to crack or to break or to show some emotion. And Tim Kaine, who ran for the vice president on Hillary Clinton's ticket, grilled him about his marital infidelity.
What?
To the point where it was just over the top and creepy. It just wasn't. Brought up his 7-year-old daughter in the hearing. I mean, just wanted him to resign because if you've ever been drunk, you shouldn't be the Secretary of Defense. And if you've ever cheated on someone, you shouldn't be Secretary of Defense. So the hypocrisy of this was just amazing. People were like, Tim, did you ever really meet Hillary's husband? Right? Did you ask him not to run? Did you ask him to resign when the Monica Lewinsky thing came out?
According to Yoko Ono, Hillary shouldn't have been on that ticket either. I mean, Yoko Ono has some claims about her relationship with Hillary.
I don't even want to go there. I don't want to go there. But there was that, and then the drink. So a representative from Oklahoma, and I can't think of his name. I want to say it's Miller, but I'm probably wrong. But he came out and just blasted the Dems. He said, "This is all hypocrisy. You're trying to get Pete Hegseth to say he won't work for a company after he's the defense chief. Whenever the current defense chief, we had to pass a special provision to allow him to become the Secretary of Defense because he was on the Raytheon board when he was nominated, right? So that's hypocrisy." And he said, "How many of you have seen another senator cast a vote in the evening and they were drunk?" How many? And he said, and you've seen it. And how many of your colleagues have gotten divorced because they cheated on their wives and you never asked them to resign either?
They had that lovely slush fund. Lovely slush fund to pay off all of those sexual harassment claims. And yet there they are.
Well, they grilled Hegseth on that. They said, well, you've got all these non-disclosures. And if I was Hegseth, I said, look, as soon as you guys give out the entire list of names of congressmen and senators who have had to pay money for allegations that may or may not have been true, and you give out all of those names and all the information, I'll release mine too. You get to hide behind that up here, but you want to grill me over it. You release it, I'll release mine.
Yeah,
you first. Right? All of you are hiding behind it, and all of you know who got a payout, and all of you are covering for everyone that did something wrong. And then there are people that may not have done something wrong, but you paid it out anyway just to sweep it under the rug.
Yeah, just to make them quiet.
Yes. So the other one was Pam Bondi, and Josh is right. Pam Bondi rocked today. What I heard, Pam, and what I saw in highlights, she made Florida proud. She crushed it. There was a Democrat senator that was trying to say, well, if you become the attorney general, you will use the Department of Justice to go after people. And she said, well, I don't think that should happen, just like it should never have happened to Donald Trump in the last 4 years. It was a windmill. Left-hand windmill through the lane dunk. It was awesome.
So after seeing Pam Bondi's hearing, how do you feel about Pam Bondi as AG instead of Matt Gaetz?
I love Pam Bondi as AG over Matt Gaetz. I thought Matt Gaetz was just sort of to annoy.
A wrecking ball?
He was a wrecking ball. Pam Bondi's a serious wrecking ball. Pam Bondi is smart. She's intelligent. She did a phenomenal job as AG. Did some great things when she was in office. And I think she's an incredibly intelligent person. I've had the opportunity to meet her a couple of times and just a wonderful person. So I really think that, my mind, I could put up with Matt Gaetz because he annoyed the hell out of the left. But I've got somebody now in the current nominee that can not just annoy the hell out of the left, but crush them legally. And I think she's going to be really, really good. I think she's going to be one of the superstars out of this administration.
Nice.
I really do. And was a big fan of Marco before he kind of got caught up in everything. But Marco as Secretary of State, I do think is going to be good as well. Okay. I think Marco's going to do some good things. I think he's going to build his name and his ID recognition back.
He's got to do something.
He's got to do something.
Some damage to his reputation. I'm not a super huge fan of Marco Rubio because of how he acted in the early days.
But I'm a super huge fan of redemption.
Yep.
And this pot gives Marco a chance for redemption.
Yep.
So, Marco, take it. Run with it. Be successful with it.
May you take that redemption chance now that you have it.
Make America great again, Marco. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm all for it. I'm really looking forward. I think Trump's team will hit the ground running next week.
I
think next week will be a dizzying pace of changes and directives and all kinds of things. I don't think Trump dives in head first on the 20th, and I think it's just going to be awesome.
They need to just do all of the most outrageous stuff first and all at the same time, because then the media can't sit there and prognosticate and rend their clothing and scream and holler about every single thing for months. If they just do it all at once, then their heads are going to be spinning as to what to talk about.
Well, they're
good strategy.
I think that's a great strategy. I think they'll do that. I think there's not enough time for the media to kind of cover what Trump's going to do. But I think Trump should do one other thing. The media has changed in 4 years. It's changed radically where people get their news. And what he should do is take away the press corps' right to decide where people sit in the press briefing.
Oh, absolutely.
And he should sit every one of those CNN and PBS and CBS and ABC and NBC back of the room. Mm-hmm. If he lets them in at all. Mm-hmm. And everybody in this side should be bloggers. Mm-hmm. They should be people that have podcasts. They should be people that should be a complete change. Mm-hmm. Be great to see One American News in the front row, right? Get rid of all of that. And then if I'm Trump at the very first press conference, I would only call on friendly reporters for the first 5-10 questions. And then I'd look at the press and go, you put up with that for 10 years. Mm-hmm. You put up with it for 10 years. Now, I'm going to stop and ask all of you questions and take your questions and answers for longer than Joe Biden ever did in the entire 4 years that he was president. But you put up with that. Every one of you seething right now that you didn't get asked one of the first 10 questions, but you put up with it. Mm-hmm. And some of you even gave your questions to the White House so they knew what it was before you got called on. Mm-hmm. So don't tell me there's a sense of fairness there.
The seating should be based on your percentage of the target demographic across all your platforms, not just television, but across all your platforms.
Then Gutfeld and Bill Maher might be in the front row.
Absolutely.
And I'm okay with that.
I'm fine with that.
Look, I just think they're bringing back all of the Trump antagonist reporters, and I wouldn't put them in the front 2 or 3 rows. And I wouldn't call on them for the first month. No. I put them right in the back.
Standing room only.
Standing room only. You're in the back. Yes, 100%. I change all that stuff up.
No chair for you.
No, I don't play by the rules you played by last time. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be used to help you. They're going to be used to try to screw you. So change the rules.
Yeah.
And I sincerely hope that all of that happens. Mm-hmm. I have no sympathy. We got lied to for 4 years of Trump, 4 years of Biden, and then probably a year and a half before. So we're on year 9 or 10 of the hardcore lies by the media. Quit listening. I mean, and you can look at their ratings and you can look at how much they've dropped. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
The amount of viewership and dollars in advertising that they have lost. Mm-hmm. And they did it to themselves.
Absolutely.
Because they couldn't tell the truth.
So,
yeah. And that's a big soapbox I'm on today. Yeah. I didn't realize I was going to get on that soapbox.
There you are.
All right. Let's do a little bit of, we got sports ball and the NFL.
Sports ball.
So there's been some stories in sports ball that I know you two do not get along sports-wise. One of you knows sports and the other one knows not to say anything about sports. So I'm trying to bring you together with a couple of stories.
Okay.
So these are stories that involve sports, but also involve things that Amanda should be able to fully comment on.
Okay.
All right.
You don't have to play down to me. I can Google.
She's got her laptop ready to go.
What's the spread in all the games this weekend?
Give me a minute.
I don't even know. And Levi probably knows all of them. All right, so at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Green Bay Packers fan got absolutely grilled by a Philadelphia fan.
Yep.
Did you guys watch any of the video? Because there was lots of it, and it was horrific.
I didn't watch the video, but that doesn't shock me coming from an Eagles fan.
It was a guy yelling at a woman.
Yeah, I knew that.
And she said she wanted to say something back. Her boyfriend was next to her. He was a Packers fan too, but she said there was all these Philly fans around, and I didn't know how they were going to react. So I just had to take his constant.
Her boyfriend didn't stand up for her?
I'm going to defend the guy in the sense that there were 8 or 9 other Philly fans around.
Doesn't matter.
You're surrounded.
Doesn't matter.
I'm
as a man, you have to stand up for your
So
woman.
that's what the internet has done.
There,
but
I
as
don't
a
know.
woman, I would want my man to be wise enough to know when to take the stand and when to, preserve both of us.
Doesn't matter.
'Cause
It's a man's job.
if he throws a punch and then 10 dudes pounce on him,
Well, I didn't
and
say
then
throw a punch.
I'm going to get hurt too. He's going to get arrested. Now I'm alone in my Packers gear, surrounded by Philadelphia. That ain't fun.
Yeah, I mean, do we go back to when the Philly players tried to jump in the stands in Jacksonville?
Well,
I was at that game.
Yeah. So this guy was so bad. He called her the word you don't call women.
See you next Tuesday.
Yes, he called her that. And
Unless you're in London, then it's perfectly fine lingo.
yeah, it was not good, right? So the internet being the internet.
Oh, they found him.
Oh, they found him.
Mm-hmm.
They found him. Internet sleuths uncovered the identity of 45-year-old Ryan Caldwell, prompting a statement from his now former employer, BCT Partners in East Brunswick. So he got a full game of yelling at a woman in Packers uniform. Then got found out on the internet who he was. Got fired from his job. The Eagles organization has banned him for life
From the stadium.
from the stadium, which it should based on the things that he said. And you can give somebody from the other team a little bit of a hard time. I mean, I've sat.
It needs to be all in good fun.
But it needs to be in fun.
You
need
gotta
to be
shake hands at
laughing
the
at it.
end.
Yeah, screaming and yelling is not the way to do it. And then apparently the Eagles are giving her, I don't know, it's $1,000 or several $1,000s worth of
Packers gear.
Packers gear.
Yep.
Right?
Nice.
We're buying you Packers gear. This is horrible. Now, if I was in the Eagles front office, I would just call her and go, this was terrible. Do you live near Green Bay? Do you want season tickets next year? Because we're just going to get you season tickets next year. We're going to set you someplace nice. And then we're going to give you a gift card for $100 at every game. We just feel horrible about this. And if next year you'd like to go to another away Packers game, we're flying you there too.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just go out of the way and go, what can we do to make this right for you?
Yeah.
And say, we're not going to do this. I mean, after
Mike
all
doesn't
this,
realize how hard it is to get season tickets to a Packers game.
Packers tickets are hard to get.
They're written into wills.
yes,
You
I
can't get season. This Philadelphia organization probably literally can't get season tickets for a Packers game for her.
StubHub.
You can, yeah,
They're
you can
just
buy
going to
them.
have to go buy
Yeah.
them every single week. That's all I'm saying.
Some poor intern that bleeds green for the Eagles is going to have to go and buy all that Packers gear.
I would say this: if I was, I'm a huge Jaguar fan. If that happened the other way, and a Jag fan had, it's been a long time since we've won a lot of those games. I'm going to yell at the opposing fans, but if they had, I would gladly have gone and done anything to make that experience better.
Jags fans just fight each other. I don't know if you've been to a Jags game recently, but they just fight each other.
I was a season
Welcome to
ticket
Duval.
holder for probably 10, 11, 12 years in the beginning. And then it just got to be, it was more work than it was fun. And Jags, I love you. But this year was more work to watch it than it was fun, so I didn't watch often.
This is the
So
first.
if you want me to watch, just put something out there where somebody's attempting to win.
Yeah,
I'm
this is the first year since, probably since they've been an organization that I haven't gone to a game.
Yeah, I love the Jags. I want them to do well, but I cannot watch the series of unfortunate events that happens. Like if we throw a 40-yard pass and it's complete, the next play, one of three things is happening: offsides, delay of game,
False
or a
start.
timeout. False start too. I'll give you that one, right? You're almost like, we just got 40 yards. We're about to give some of it back.
Yeah.
Or a holding penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, you're like, we can't do two good plays in a row. If somebody actually did a study of when the last time the Jags had three good plays in a row, I don't know how many years ago it would be. I don't know.
Probably 2 years ago.
I don't know. It's been a while.
I mean, 2 years ago, we went to the AFC or the divisional. So
when
probably
we
2 years
beat
ago.
the Chargers.
Yeah.
When we beat the Chargers was probably
We
the
had to
last
put a
time.
whole half together to do that.
Oh, what a great half it was. But what a great half. So any other, I mean, I've been in situations where people have been kind of obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they've even been obnoxious for my team.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, just stop.
Yeah.
Just quit. Let some people around you enjoy the game as well. Quit being a jackass.
My dad had Clemson stickers all over his car, and he and my mom went to a championship game against FSU, and it was the FSU fans. They saw my dad's car with all the Clemson Tiger Paws on it, because he had like little tiger paws that looked like a cat had walked across this back window, and it said Clemson Tigers or Clemson University on the back. And so they all sat on his car drinking beer and just put their beer cans all over and just waited for him and my mom to come back. My dad is not a confrontational dude.
Yeah.
And these guys were just obnoxious. And then we had Louis almost got in a fight with a bar, not because of anything he did.
With a bar?
He was just chilling in a bar because there were Gamecock fans that found out he was from Florida, assumed he was a Florida Gators fan.
Yep.
And this was right after they snagged, what was it, Urban? I don't know. It was right after they snagged the Gators. Spurrier's coach.
Please do not confuse them. One is a phenomenal Florida athlete, Heisman Trophy winner, national championship coach.
Yeah.
The other's an ass. So please don't confuse them.
Should we ask
Did I
which one
miss
is
anything
which?
there, Levi?
No, it's pretty spot on.
Okay. All right.
So they just assumed. And like my husband's a Miami University fan. He's not even a Gators fan.
Yeah.
And none of the people that were with him were Gators fans. And these guys just kept getting in his face. I'm like, well, honey, that's why their mascot's a cock. That's all I can say.
It's just, you watch that stuff and it's just like, lighten up.
Yeah.
Just lighten up. It's just a game. And right now, those kids are being paid a whole lot more than you and probably care less about it than you do. I mean, I don't care. They don't want to win, but they're not going to get a fight with a random stranger over the game. They're going to go play the game. They're going to go get back and recover, and then they're going to get in shape for the next game.
Yeah.
They're not.
Don't cop a felony for someone that doesn't know you exist.
Yes.
Barbara Jean was saying that the Phillies fans were throwing full cans of beer at anyone wearing purple back in the day when they were playing.
Barbara Jean, I thought they were bricks. But no, I mean, listen, they threw stuff at Santa.
Didn't they punch Santa?
He came out at one of the games back in the 50s or the 60s, and they threw beer cans and cups at Santa.
It tells you all you need to know about Philly right there.
Yeah, I mean, right now, if you ask me what stadiums do you not want to go to, Philly's in the top 5 list.
Yeah.
Because you'd also have to go to
I got to go to Philly. It's not like your city is like a shining example of this is a great place
the city
to
of
be.
brotherly love.
And I know people that love to go to Philly. I'm just not one of them.
New Orleans is the same way.
Yeah.
I went to New Orleans once. I have no intention of going back.
Same.
So
it was a one-time deal. I was in, I was out. I was kind of like at National Lampoon's Vacation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, it's time to go, kids. Let's go. Everybody back in the car.
Well, the Super Bowl's in New Orleans this year, so
yeah.
Nah, it's okay. Great.
City smells terrible.
No.
So what is one NFL stadium that you would want to go to and have a great game in?
Can it be one I've already been to?
Yeah.
Okay. You can go ahead.
Let me think for a second. So you go first.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. The way that it's built is it's built into the ground, right?
Okay.
So it doesn't look like a big stadium from the outside, but when you walk in, you're walking in at like the 300 level, and then it goes down into the ground, which creates for a massive amount of noise with a small amount of people.
Yeah.
The fans there, they don't care which team you're on. They're all there at 6 a.m. ready to have a good party. They'll let you into their tailgates. They tailgate hop. They're just very, what you would expect from the Midwest.
Well, they're obviously welcoming because they would drink with Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, they're very welcoming people. I've been to 3 games in Kansas City, and I've never had a bad experience.
Yeah.
And I love that stadium.
So Kansas City, everything you just said, I would agree because I've been to Kansas City multiple times. Not to a sporting event there, but for business trips in the Midwestern. The first time I went, some people at the airport are like, "Oh, it's your first time here." You know, the airport is 35 miles from the city. Just catch a ride with us.
Yep.
Okay, as long as you're not axe murderers. No, I mean, I say, but they were awesome people.
Yeah.
And the other one, I've been to the Dallas Stadium.
I've been there.
Dallas is a really fun place to go to. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to do around there. So I'm trying to think of places that I would like to go and do other things around. And I'm Xing off a lot of the big cities. I mean, Miami probably wouldn't be bad. I've been to Tampa. Tampa's a fun stadium to go to
Tampa's
as well.
fun.
So
Isn't it hard to get out of?
Yeah, everywhere. All the stadiums are hard to get out of.
Okay.
Yes.
Football events are hard to get out of.
Yeah. Well, I went to a baseball game, off-season baseball game, and there was just no plan for how to get us out of that stadium. It wasn't even a full capacity game. It was like a spring training exhibition game. And we were there not to see the Rays. We were there to see the Yankees. Again, husband's family. And so, yeah, it was insane. We were stuck for like 2.5 hours just in the parking lot. And it was maybe a third capacity stadium. There was just no plan to get us out of there. And nobody was moving.
I totally lied, by the way. I went to a Jags game in Detroit this year. So that was a cool stadium as well.
Yeah.
But
so went to Raymond James Stadium a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago for a Billy Joel concert. And, or maybe it was last year. It might have been last year for a Billy Joel concert. And we just happened to roll up, park at a bank across the street, just randomly at this bank. And then I got talking to the attendant. I'm like, hey, how do I get out of here tonight? What's the best way? He said, well, everybody's going to try to go this way, but make sure you go the other way. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go the other way. So we go to leave, and we're literally right across the street. So I'm to the car and in the car before most people have gotten out of the stadium.
right.
And of course, the cops won't let me go the other way.
Right.
So I have to get in the flow of traffic. But we were early enough on. I think we were home 15 minutes after the concert was over.
Oh, nice.
And it was a, it's a good 15-minute drive from where, but we just kind of flew through everything.
Nice.
Like if you tried to plan an exit strategy, it couldn't have been better as what we lucked into. Made up for all the times I've been like, I'm never moving. I'm going to be here for the next concert.
It was not a fun experience to try and leave that. And I can't imagine what it would be like when it was actually a packed game. So what's the stadium that you absolutely have no interest other than Philadelphia in ever going to?
New York, Chicago,
The Jets. The Jets Stadium.
All of those. Foxborough might be
Chicago's
fun.
new stadium will be cool once they build it.
Buffalo might be fun.
Buffalo would be a blast. I would
Early
love,
season.
No, snow game.
The Buffalo
Fans shoveling the snow out. Like, I want to see a snow game in
they
Buffalo.
help, don't they?
Yeah, so what they do is they open the stadium up and they tell the fans, hey, if you come help, like, we'll give you free stuff and we'll comp you stuff. And
free beer if you shovel snow.
You know what else is a cool stadium? Is Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta.
Atlanta's a great stadium.
Very cool stadium.
So that would be a fun. No Cleveland, no Cincinnati,
No Cleveland.
no Pittsburgh, no Baltimore.
No Baltimore.
That's basically the North, right? Tennessee.
Northeast.
I'm not a fan of going to Tennessee. Indianapolis is a great place. I've been to Final Four there. That's a really fun town to go to a game in. Houston, I've got family, so I'm okay there.
Yeah.
And then West Coast, you're
the LA Stadium's pretty cool. The SoFi.
Yes. I haven't been there. It's kind of like, if I get to go, I get to go. But LA is just, there's too many people for me.
Yeah.
It's just too many
I don't
people.
like LA at all. I've been to pretty much every city you can go to in California, and San Diego trumps all of them by far.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
That's the one I've been to. So I've only ever been to one NFL game, and it was the Carolina Panthers, and it was their inaugural season because they played in Clemson.
Yes.
And so my dad was like, we have inherited my grandfather's season tickets when he passed. So there's like 2 50-yard line tickets that they have in a great section. Clemson has ended the ability to inherit that. You can only inherit it so many times, and then it goes back for sale because these legacy tickets, it sucks. So we're going to lose those tickets at some point. But
Only if you report the death.
No death certificate.
Only if you report the death.
So yeah, we were at a Carolina Panthers game. It was miserable. It was so cold and rainy. And Carolina Panthers, like, we didn't care about them. It was just that they were an NFL team and they were at Clemson. I don't even know who they were playing. And finally, I look at my parents. I'm like, can I just sit in the van? And they're like, you can't crank it. And I was like, I don't care. I just want to not be in this rain anymore. We had ponchos. It didn't help. And so they let me walk all the way back to the van by myself as like a 14-year-old and just sit in the van and read.
Nice.
All right. Switching gears a little bit. WNBA, which struggles financially. The players don't make a lot of money. The league has lost money every single year.
NBA financially supports it.
NBA financially supports it, right? So But the interesting story that came out of the WNBA this week is there was an WNBA star, and I don't think she was a big star, Liz Cambridge. And Liz has gone OnlyFans.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And Liz has made a tremendous amount of money on OnlyFans, more so than what she was making in the WNBA.
Yep.
So, I mean, for me, I look at this and I think it's sad, right? I'm not, women's basketball is so different from men's basketball, right? It's played on the ground. It's not played in the air.
That's the problem with it.
Men's basketball is played in the air. There are some phenomenal women athletes that play basketball in the WNBA and in college that would kick my butt and your butt.
No.
Not a one.
No, not a single woman that plays in the WNBA at the highest level could beat me in a one-on-one game.
All right, we're accepting all challenges because we like the NBA stars to come down here and WNBA and enjoy this. So
Good luck.
Exhibition
I would
match.
put my entire house lean on it.
don't let me down on this.
It wouldn't
Levi, don't
happen.
let me down.
It wouldn't happen.
So it's not near the level of competition of what the men's is. But what I find interesting is you have women that work a lot, hours, years to get to where they are to get to the NBA.
Uh-huh.
Someone leaves, they do what some women have been doing for forever to make money, and they can make far more money than the WNBA.
Well, she's not a bad looking chick.
Exactly. And that's all I was going to say. If that's her prerogative, go right ahead. Make OnlyFans money. A lot of the WNBA players, they play overseas. They play 2 seasons.
Yeah.
They make more money overseas playing.
That's why that one player ended up getting arrested.
Brittany
she was
Griner,
there.
she was playing in Russia. Yep.
Yeah.
You never go to Russia to play. It's like going to Philly in a Packers uniform, Brittany. You don't do it.
But yeah, I mean, listen, the way that the game of basketball is designed is supposed to be a high, intense, above the rim game, and women biologically just aren't athletic enough to fulfill the requirements for people to watch the game. Caitlin Clark helped them a lot last year. They hit all-time highs in everything.
But I disagree a little bit because when basketball first started, it wasn't an above the rim.
It wasn't, but it's evolved to that.
It has evolved to that. So basketball, the way it was originally envisioned, is really the way the WNBA plays. There was
Not entirely.
There was not a lot of guys. No one dunked the ball back then because it was illegal.
It was illegal, yes.
No one dunked the ball. You had a lot of people all shot close in shots. Nobody shot the 3-point shot that's out there today. That's an evolution that's happened in the last 20 years in basketball.
Yes.
And the accuracy that has evolved over the last 20 years is rather amazing.
40 years. But yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking 20 years ago.
20 years ago was 1994, and there was definitely a three-point line for at least 15 years at that point.
Well, okay. All right. I'll show my age. 40 years ago, I was in college when the 3-point line came along. So, okay. You're right. Yes, 40 years. But it's a different game. The women's game, Caitlin Clark has finally brought the 3-point shooting into that, but it's not a game where women just don't leave the floor.
Do you know what I think? Because NBA's ratings are atrocious this year, right?
They're NBA is struggling.
And I've actually talked in long form with some very intelligent people about this. And the reason it's struggling is because they give the players too much power and stardom, whereas the NFL, the players don't get as much power as NBA players. And when I'm saying that, I'm talking about like LeBron can go request a trade and go anywhere he wants. He can sit out. He can do all these things. In
He's
the
also
NFL,
LeBron.
well, I'm just using him as an example. That's across the board in the NBA, where the star player is bigger than the team. And in football, you don't have that.
Yeah.
In football, people cheer for teams, and in the NBA, a lot of big NBA fans cheer for players.
Yeah.
They're not team things. Now, part of that is because there's only 5 guys on the court. There's not 11 on each side. That plays a factor. But also part of it is the fact that Adam Silva, in my opinion, is the worst commissioner in sports league history ever, period, ever. Because he just gives the players and coaches too much freedom to talk about stuff outside of the sport. And we see it in their ratings. If you look at the NBA, over 76% of the owners are registered Republicans. And their viewership is down because of the Black Lives Matter movement that was pushed so hard in the NBA. All these other social issues that NBA players wanted to push on the platform.
They were too scared to be politically neutral.
They were, yeah, exactly. And they should have said, I know that this whole thing went on around shut up and dribble, but obviously you shouldn't say that, but you should definitely say, hey, like, the NBA as a total product, you're an employee of the NBA and you need to stay politically neutral.
There are things you can't do on the job.
100%. That's with any job in America.
Yeah.
That's with any job anywhere. You can't, there's things you can't do.
Yeah.
And that wasn't enforced enough by the commissioner at the level it should have been, which has really hurt the product now. But
I think what's hurt the product, right, is people think of the NBA in those few glory years, right? And when I say the glory years, the NBA was nothing when I was a kid. Nobody watched the NBA.
No.
All of a sudden, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird come along, and the NBA comes really popular. And then Michael Jordan carries it after that. And then you have Kobe and Shaq, and then LeBron to a degree, right? But people go, well, oh my gosh, it was so great back then. But it was a very narrow window in the life of the NBA. And I had this conversation 40 years ago, 35 years ago with Troy Blevins. And I said, name for me the top 3 sports in America in 1900. 1900.
baseball, golf, and probably soccer.
Horse racing.
Well, I didn't think about that.
Boxing.
Okay,
Yeah.
boxing makes sense.
Baseball, right?
Okay.
And I'll give you golf in there as a 4th, right? So this was about 1995 or so, right? 1990, 1995. I said, which one of the top 3 sports today will not be around in 100 years? Right? Horse racing is still big, but it's not a top 5 sport.
It's a regional.
Today.
It's big regionally.
It's regional and there's a lot of money in it. And yes, but it doesn't captivate the audience of America that sports watchers like it used to. Boxing really doesn't do that anymore. MMA is probably more influential than
It's more
boxing
prevalent
is.
than boxing for
Yes,
sure.
right?
Boxing got corrupted though by too many people having their hand in the pot, promoters, all this. Boxing's a whole new,
Well,
whole
that-
different can
that
of worms.
Paul Tyson fight didn't help because it was like, all right, everybody was super excited. And then that fight was just such a sad spectacle to
That's how
watch
boxing's been for 20 years. That wasn't
it's
anything
just-
new.
Well, it brought a whole lot of attention. And people that are like, oh, I haven't watched boxing in forever, but I definitely want to see Mike Tyson knock this Paul kid out.
The largest
and then
viewership,
it was so sad.
largest online
I
viewership
think it
in
really
history,
hurt boxing.
largest gate in history, largest pay for the boxers in history. It broke all the records. The Paul fight did, but it was a entertainment spectacle. It was not an actual fight.
Yeah.
So the question is, which
And
of
it was
those
not
sports
entertaining.
right there today
It's not entertaining.
that are big time sports are in danger of losing? I initially thought back in the 90s, because of the head injuries and some of the other stuff that's going on in the NFL, that it would be the NFL. Right now, the NBA scares me more than anything else. And baseball, there's really not a superstar in baseball right now that carries it. And I think LeBron
The NBA is not going anywhere.
I think LeBron's an amazing athlete, right? He's doing things as a 40-year-old that most people just can't do. But he's not loved like Jordan was. He's not loved like Magic Johnson or Larry Bird was. And
He's sort of infamous.
And I don't see a lot of people coming up in the NBA. There are some very talented players right now spread out across the league, and some really good teams of some no-name players that are doing pretty well this year, but nobody watches.
Steph Curry's loved like
I was
Jordan
going to
is.
say, you don't think Steph Curry?
I think Steph
is.
is probably, I'll give you Steph.
But here's what people don't realize in America is that the NBA is, as much as it's an American sport, it's not an American product. Like and I say that it's not geared towards Americans. They focus on the Asian community more than anyone.
Oh, yeah. China is a
It
huge
is-
part of their market.
Basketball is the second largest sport globally behind soccer. So
That's wild.
that being said, in Europe, if you go to Europe, they are all about soccer first and basketball second.
Yeah.
European, Serbia, where Jokic came from, some of these countries, if you look at their professional basketball games, they look like college football games here.
But the college or the basketball in Europe is a different brand of basketball than we play here.
It's a better brand.
I agree with that 100%.
And they should adapt FIBA rules in the NBA.
It's 100% better.
You know what I think would save the NBA? And I wanted to say this earlier. And tell me if you like this idea.
Co-ed with the WNBA.
No. Make the dunk worth 3 points.
Make the dunk worth 3 points.
Make a dunk worth 3 points and remove the 3-point line.
You misogynist.
See, a guy that can dunk always wants that. And then all of us little guys that can never dunk.
You could even leave the 3-point line, but think about instead of them trying to set up a play to shoot a fadeaway 3 to win a game or tie a game, they're giving it to LeBron going down the lane as hard as he can.
But let me explain. So before the 3-point line was really there and was a big deal and people shot behind it, watching an NBA game, if you didn't have a Moses Malone or a Robert Parrish or a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, it was so boring to watch. They even with those guys, they'd throw it into them in the fourth quarter and let them go one-on-one on the box for what seemed like forever. And there wasn't a lot of movement in the game.
Well, that's because back then they were the first evolution of today's player playing back then. So, I mean, they're playing against guys that can't even make a college team now.
Yes.
So the athleticism across the board in the NBA now is it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think NBA athletes are the pinnacle of human athletic specimens globally. You look at someone like Victor Wembanyama, right?
They're playing their sport a lot longer than, soccer stars maybe. You'd have to, Messi's still playing.
But when I say pinnacle of human, I'm talking bigger, faster, stronger. The class that we all took in school.
Yeah.
Bigger, faster, stronger. When you look at a human that's 6 foot or 7'6", right? And he's running like a gazelle. And then he's dribbling the basketball between his legs. And then he's jumping from the free throw line and dunking the basketball. You don't get that in any other sport except the NBA.
All right. One more question.
Oh, I've got a question.
Go ahead.
Did we talk about the year that the 3-point line was invented in the NBA? Or adopted? The season? No. What season was it?
What season was there? I'm gonna
go 1979.
78 to 79 or 79 to 80?
78 to 79.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 1977.
It was 79 to 80.
Ooh, I was close.
You were so close. You were almost
close.
there. I'll give it to you.
All right. TikTok ban. Does it happen?
No.
You don't think it'll happen?
No.
Who's going to buy TikTok to keep it from happening?
It has to happen fast.
The clock is literally TikToking.
Maybe it gets banned, but it's not going to get banned forever. They have to buy the data rights to TikTok, right? That's what the whole issue is, the data rights.
The rights are getting the Chinese government unplugged from data mining on people that are on TikTok.
Americans,
yes.
Yeah. What I will say is that Amazon wants them to be banned because TikTok Shop is rivaling Amazon in purchases. People are just buying stuff left and right on TikTok Shop.
Is that why the Washington Post is writing good articles about Donald Trump?
Maybe.
Just asking for a friend.
Maybe, but TikTok Shop is like a massive thing in Asia. It's like the biggest thing. It's their version of Amazon. And it's starting to be like that in America where people do TikTok lives, they sell clothes. It's like the new...
It's like the home shopping network.
It's like the home... I was just about to say, it's HGTV for my generation and younger. And I mean, my girlfriend falls victim to it. My younger brother falls victim to it. I've bought stuff off TikTok Shop.
I have never.
It's great, but here's the thing.
Safe from
Not
TikTok.
planning on starting either.
Here's the thing. It's great for young entrepreneurs that want to build a product because now they can take their product to TikTok Shop with their own home inventory and build it from basically nothing to a multi-million-dollar business in literally months.
Yeah.
Like I know people that have started cologne companies in their garage and have built them to a $30 million eval in 3 months because they put a viral video on TikTok with their cologne. So it gives opportunity there, and that's why I don't think it will be banned, is because of that opportunity.
I think it's going away unless an American buys it, and I think the Chinese don't want to give up they don't want the Americans to buy it and find out all the stuff that they've been doing.
Okay, now here's my thing. I would love for it to go away because it's just another social platform that brain rots our youth.
I think all of social media, except for this show and the 904 Now in the Morning and Davey's show, is horrible.
Well, our attention span was starting to get longer, and that was the conversation of long-form content. Long-form content's the way to go. Look at people. Nobody thought people would sit for a 3-hour Rogan interview, and then here comes TikTok. And there's Coco Melon. Coco Melon is training children to have the most minute little attention span.
You lost my attention
it's the
like
TikTok,
4 minutes ago.
I know, because a woman's talking. It's the TikTok of children's programming.
Talking.
It's a joke.
I like the joke. I think it's funny.
But
misogyny's funny.
It's terrible. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's why I made it.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun bouncing
Yes.
back and forth over those things. Like me making fun of Amanda for sports whenever Amanda was a college athlete swimming and I never was a college athlete.
I wasn't.
Nice.
I was a high school athlete.
So for Christmas,
I tried to build you
I
up.
know. I'm not going to take it.
speaking of like comedy and stuff, for Christmas, I bought a friend of mine, my brother. It's my brother's Christmas present, and my girlfriend and myself 4 tickets to go see Shane Gillis. Are you familiar
Yeah.
with Shane Gillis, the comedian?
Yeah. He does a great Trump impression.
One of the best.
He angered a lot of people because he signed with Bud Light to try and help rehab their image.
He did.
But other than that,
He's hilarious.
he was gaining fame and considered a base comedian
He's
for a
like
while there.
the
He took the check.
Yeah,
Let's
he
just
took the
admit
check.
it. He took the check.
You know how Dave Chappelle would push like boundaries with like social stuff, and he was like one of the
Never
bigger ones.
noticed.
Yeah.
The boycotts just eluded me.
So Shane Gillis is like that on the right side.
Yeah.
That's what he does. And I got us 3rd row seats to go see him in Jacksonville in March. So
That's awesome.
I'm real excited. And he does the political jokes, and they are so spot on and so funny.
Like
He's hilarious.
you should be able to laugh at yourself. And again, this is an overgeneralization. Darcy's listening, I get in trouble. But for the most part, people on the left have lost the ability the last 10 or 20 years to laugh at themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
They take themselves way too seriously. When I watch comedies from the 70s and the 80s, the people who took themselves too seriously were usually the conservatives or the older people.
Yeah, for sure.
They have grown into what they used to make fun of.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to laugh. I do silly things on this show all the time. You guys are always making fun of me, tomorrow especially, right? But I enjoy that. And you got to be able to laugh at some of this stuff. You can't take everything so seriously that if somebody says something to you, you'll lose all your friends.
Yeah.
Basically, you're telling me you didn't have any friends in the first place if you're willing to lose something you didn't have,
Or
right?
transactional relationships at that point.
No, it's just silly. I mean, I have people that have said things to me politically. I just kind of shake my head. If they called for help tomorrow, I would help them tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Susan Johnson had a question. She wants to know what we think about Red Note. Have you heard about that? So that's where everyone's going to as an alternative to TikTok. And their terms of service have been unmasked a little bit. In their terms of service, when you check that box, when you're downloading that app and creating that account, it legit says that you will follow the Chinese Constitution and you swear allegiance to the Communist Party in the terms of service.
I've never heard of Red Note.
Mark
It's pretty
safe
wild.
from Red Note as well.
Yeah.
No.
So, I mean, have a conversation with people if they're jumping ship from TikTok to Red Note, because it's not a pretty app.
I think if TikTok goes away, we see in the next 4 years, and I think this might happen anyways, we see X hit a evaluation of $500 billion. The platform X.
Oh, I think TikTok going away in the United States is huge for X. It's huge for Truth Social. Not Reddit. Rumble. Rumble's another one.
Rumble. Love Rumble.
Will benefit hugely from that, and I love Rumble because it's a much more free platform.
Who would you want to buy TikTok if an American does buy it?
An American buys it. I want. Can Kid Rock buy it?
That would be awesome.
I want somebody who's unapologetically American and will do the right thing.
That'd be
with
awesome.
It.
I'd be cool with
I'm in
Elon buying
Kid
it.
Rock.
I'd be cool with Elon buying it.
All right. I'm a
I'm
little
not okay with
iffy on
Elon buying
Elon
it.
just because of how he handled the H-1 visa backlash.
I don't. First of all, I think the H-1B visa. There's probably there's a need for it, and there's also abuse in it.
Yeah.
It's a government program, so there's both.
Yeah.
So figure out how to get the right people here, and figure out how to keep the people from abusing it.
Yeah.
There are also companies that did it because they wanted to say we use the H-1B visa because people on the left thought that was a cool thing.
Well, didn't you get tax credits if you did it too?
You may or may not have. It's like
But you also don't
there
have
are
to
a
pay
lot
as
of
much.
Americans that are very smart that were not given the opportunity. There's also instances when we brought people over that were incredibly smart, Einstein being one of them.
Yeah.
And thank God we had him here to invent things. So, yeah.
So who do you want to buy it?
Who do I want to buy it? I still say Kid Rock.
Kid Rock.
I wasn't joking. I want somebody unapologetically American.
I would say Chris Pavlovsky, who is the owner of Rumble. I would want Rumble.
Yeah, I would like Rumble to buy it as well. That'd be the ideal scenario.
My only problem with Elon and with Rumble buying it is you're consolidating and you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And right now they're run correctly. As soon as one day somebody takes over or a board takes over and says, we want to be like the old Facebook was, or we want to be like the old Twitter was, then people lose rights. And it might be people on the right that are losing it. It might be people on the left that are losing it. And that's, for me, I want a free speech platform.
I want Rumble to buy it just for the short-term satisfaction of all the people that have called Rumble a far-right extremist platform, and then having to be like, oh yeah, Rumble owned TikTok. Rumble's not so bad after all.
Well,
I just want it for the meme.
Let me write the headline for you. Rumble, far-right group, conspires with China to help Trump by buying TikTok.
Of course.
I'm just telling you how they write the headline.
You know what else would be really cool?
What?
Is if the creators of Vine somehow got some seed money and bought it and changed it back to Vine.
That'd be funny.
Because Vine was the original TikTok.
Yeah, that's where it started.
And I had a big Vine following, so if I could get my Vine back, that'd be cool.
What's your Vine back?
You should buy it.
Are you going to fund me?
No.
AD Construction Talk.
AD Davis is not funding. We're not.
AD Davis Construction Talk.
We are currently funding our own organization.
AD Davis is currently turning in his grave.
No, he's not. My grandfather was really enjoyed talking politics. My dad, not so much. My dad did not enjoy politics at all. So a lot of this love of politics I got from my grandfather and enjoying that. All right, we need to go.
Okay.
Got dinner with my son Matt and his.
We got to
fiance.
go.
We got to go. Levi, good luck in your game tomorrow night.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Tune in to the morning show where Davey is the star. Don't tell Pete. Don't tell Pete. And then tune in to where Davey has his own show. Again, don't tell Pete it's Davey's show. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Bollocks Boys will be here. And we got some great trivia for you guys tomorrow.
Let's see who's late tomorrow.
Me.
Bye.
Love you guys.